Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I am here in Guadalajara at the headquarters of ASMPT, and I'm joined by Ramon Hernandez. Ramon, great to see you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Phil, thank you. Pleasure as usual.
Let's just start with talking a little bit about what's going on in the industry here in Mexico. Globally, we're seeing a little bit of tightness in terms of demand, but we're still seeing a shift in terms of reshoring. We're still seeing projects come back to the Americas. What's kind of the overall picture at the moment? And much as we're seeing that inventory bubble come through our customers, a lot of them are talking about improvements towards the back half of the year and kind of growing again in 2025.
Well, as I will say a couple of years ago, we're seeing a lot of companies coming to Mexico, like we were talking before, mainly companies from Asia, from China, from Taiwan. We're seeing a lot of these companies. However, as you mentioned, the market has been a little bit slower of what we were expecting previously, but still there are some sectors that are very positive. This is an election year in Mexico, which that's kind of a slowdown on that sense, but we're expecting probably second half of the year, Q4 of this year, we will see some improvement in investment in general.
Yeah, and we've got as you mentioned, the election here. We've also got an election year in the US, and when we get both of those in the same year, it's always a little bit of turmoil. What we've found with some contract manufacturers is, whilst they're not perhaps investing in capacity in the way they have in the past, they're thinking much more about operational excellence. They're thinking about that digital transformation, and they're taking maybe some of the slightly quieter times as an opportunity to look inwards. Are you finding that with your customers, and are they starting to talk more about digital transformation and how you can enable that?
Yes, that I will say that is like we call it, right, the fourth revolution, Industry 4.0, in which most of the customers and us as well, if we want to keep the competitive advantage, to innovate, we need to work on a lot of the digital transformation for our customers in their lines, in the way they are working, processing all the data, how they are automating their lines, and utilizing all the information that is coming from the machines, from all the suppliers, to make their operation a lot more efficient and automated in the data transformation.
Yeah, and I think, in some ways that's to remain competitive, and we've seen wages rising here in Mexico, so that competitive side's important, but also it's to mitigate talent shortages. And people are thinking, how can I operate more machines? How can I grow my business with the same headcount? Is that something that comes up?
Yes, that's for sure. Talent has been, I will say, an issue in some areas, in some industries. Manufacturing is not the exception, for sure. So it's very difficult sometimes, to get talented people or very specialized people. When we talk about digital transformation, it comes a lot more to understanding networking, IT, how all these different softwares are working, right? And that, I will say, adds a complexity of getting the talent, people with the right skills to operate all the different softwares, all the different solutions that are coming from us, from the suppliers to the industry.
Yeah, and when you look at talent as an overall picture, do you think the universities, do you think government are supporting initiatives? Are you seeing the right kind of people from the next generation come through?
I think so. There's a mix. You see in some states, some universities that are putting some programs together, that are get in touch with us, with the suppliers, to go and give some seminars, or they are putting some classes specifically in manufacturing. So in that sense, is very good. In the other hand, we are in the manufacturing industry, electronics industry, but as you know, the industries with the digital transformation that we're talking about, there are a lot more opportunities sometimes, and that creates a lot of competition. Okay, maybe today I'm working from manufacturing, but tomorrow I'm going to be working, I don't know, somewhere else, nothing related to the electronic industry.
Yeah, so you need to be able to get people on the line fast, you need to train them quickly, and you need to make them as flexible as possible. I wanted to touch on what you were saying about the markets. Which of the end user markets do you think are really interesting at the moment? We seem to have hit a bit of a bump in the road with EVs, but the general automotive market seems to still be moving forward. We're seeing more and more technology in cars generally.
Yes, in the last 2 years, previous interviews that we have, conversations, right? We were talking about EVs and how that trend is pushing a lot the industry in Mexico, mainly with automotive. Right now, the EVs are a little bit more slower in penetrating the market, but we still see good signs with 5G, with IoTs, with digital transformation, automation, with normal automotive industries. We are seeing that is picking up a little bit. So it's kind of compensating what we were seeing before, depending a lot on the EVs investment and a little bit less on the 5G, on the digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and now it's kind of switching a little bit back to the industrial part of the business. So.
Yeah, it's interesting how it shifts. What's also interesting and very positive for 2025 and beyond is we're seeing some of those large global EV players scoping where they should be in Mexico. So that's very encouraging for the future. What I'm curious about is, what are you seeing yourself in terms of regional variations? Where's kind of the next big area in Mexico? Which areas are pushing and winning more business?
I will say in general in Mexico, the state of Chihuahua and Ciudad Juarez is huge. With Asian investment, Asian accounts, especially from Taiwan. We're seeing a lot of that. Nuevo León is I will say, one of the areas that are growing a lot with investment, and especially, again, with all the EVs and everything are coming to those states. For sure, Jalisco keeps being one of the stronger, as we have most of the biggest EMS companies here in Jalisco, in Guadalajara. So I will say these three states are very strong, has been very strong in the past, and I think it will continue to be in the same sense.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that the different investment coming into the different areas, but you're also seeing OEMs coming in behind that. So you're seeing a much greater penetration of OEMs in Mexico now. We're not yet seeing Mexican brands so much, and we're not yet seeing Mexican EMS companies coming through. Do you think that's likely to change?
That's challenging. It's challenging. We have a lot of companies in Mexico, a lot of big EMS, OEMs, contract manufacturers. So for 100% Mexican companies to come up and be one of the biggest ones, it's challenging. What we have seen over the years is that a lot of the talent in regards global engineering teams, global advanced manufacturing teams are being more focused in Mexico. So same way like we see a lot of software development, R&D centers in Mexico, we are seeing a lot of this talent in engineering, in taking global decisions, global strategies being localized in Mexico, not so much having contract manufacturers, but the talent from Mexico is basically helping globally in these different EMS.
Yeah, I see that, and I see over the last 10 years that's really elevated the position of Mexico as a manufacturer. It's no longer seen as an environment that you move to for cost. It's an environment that has that talent, and lots of the large global companies use Guadalajara or Mexico as their sandbox to develop new industrial automation applications and to really develop their software muscle. So that's a huge benefit to the region.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, for Mexico, I think it's great. Is one of the advantages and one of the reasons that a lot of companies and globally the world is putting their eyes in Mexico. Because all the different combination of the geography we have. Being closer to US, of course, is a great benefit, but also talent that we have in Mexico. It's been great in the last few years, and with everything that is happening around the globe, I think that will continue in the future for Mexico.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Geopolitics, technology, all those things are playing into Mexico's hands. So thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on your new role. That's really fabulous, and I look forward to talking again soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.